unmute us for all the viewers.
Well, welcome to the April edition of the Wayne Amateur Radio Club. Call meeting to order and introduce people that are here. If you want to start, Aaron down there, or give your name and call and any other information you want to get.
Aaron, Kealva.
Gary, double R Gary. Whiskey 8 Gulf Mike Fox.
Bill, KM8WDK.
Benny, KC8DEO.
Pat, nothing.
Pat is an aspiring hand,
Yes.
and I'm Doug Kilo Echo 8 Juliet November Hotel.
Lee, NALFK.
Eric, WADLM.
Tom, NHAVG.
Mike Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo.
Steve, KC8MIW. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Does anybody else need an agenda? I think we got it for everybody. So we will start with the approval of the
I move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting that was sent out via email.
Okay, it says right here, approval of the February minutes. So you need to make that change. It will be, as Doug said, the approval of the last meeting, which was.
March minute, yeah. February, March, yeah.
One second.
With repair or change,
There you go.
as amended.
Well, actually, the minutes are fine. It's just the agenda.
Yeah, well, we would just do it.
So, have a second?
Second.
Bill? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait.
One in opposition.
That was on member, non-vote.
Anytime you make an amendment to the minutes, you automatically become the secretary. So keep that in mind. Treasurer's report, Gary?
Treasurer's report. There's a few up there. If anyone wants one, grab one, or I'll pass them out now. What's that?
Few here if anybody needs one.
Yeah, there's some up there and some here if anyone wants to see them. And there's one correction for March. You want me to do that now?
As well.
Okay, and that is reflected on the checking at the beginning of the month here. The one on the 61, it was 0 last time. I had a $1 even mistake on the first transaction I made when I got the checkbook. But it is correct now, and it was checked with the bank. Cash on hand checking, cash checking or PayPal. Checking is $2,861.31. Cash on hand is $20. PayPal, and this is all as of the first of the month or the end of last month, I should say, for 3/31. PayPal was $94.05. And I had a $20 check for a total of $2,995.36. Liabilities and equity, $279.86 of that is in the so-called repeater fund. This leaves a total equity in the club of $2,715.50. And that's strictly monetary equity. We've got quite a bit of equipment stuff. I'm not sure that will ever go in as equity, and maybe that will be renamed. I don't know. For this month's activities, there was no expenses. And in income, we had one membership come in under PayPal for $18.81 for a total income of $18.81.
Questions? Motion to accept. Bill? Second, Doug? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Nobody wants to be treasurer. All right, now we will go to the repeater trustee, and that would be Gary.
As far as I know, it's been pretty much status quo unless somebody's done something I'm not aware of. We get, occasionally still have the low background FM interference. I do have some filter boards coming in that we may put in just to stop that. They're supposed to be delivered tomorrow. They left Portland yesterday. That sounds awful quick, but, and if anybody is interested in a bandstop over for FM, just a little 3-pole bandstop, probably cost $3 or $4 to put it together. I'm supposed to have 9 on there, about a 1/2 inch thick or 6 inches long. They were a huge sum of 3 for $2. I'd be glad to give anyone one if they need one at home or anything else, if they ever run into any problems with FM broadcast getting in. But that's the only thing, as far as I know with Doug, there's been no change. The movement of the 440 machine is still on hold for the immediate future at least, and
You had mentioned smoke detection, the more I read, I think that might be a possibility.
if it is, it's before here, my filter's probably. Because I can't put this little filter in where the transmitter's at, so.
Right.
But anyhow, that's, as far as I know, things are working pretty well, and,
Yeah, it sounds good, the audio sounds good.
and I can't even hear the low grade audio the last 2 net nights.
I haven't heard the last couple meetings, I did hear.
Yeah, I did hear a time or two, but the last 2 I haven't. So.
Yeah, I can kind of speak to that a little bit. I could not ever hear it really well, but I could notice it when people drew it to my attention. A couple weeks ago, Jason asked me to try an experiment out at the site, switching the duplexers around to that old set of duplexers. So I did that about 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
And that seems to be about the time that people said, well, they haven't heard it anymore, so it might be fixed.
well, that was the only thing I could figure. You could slow detect it on the edge of a duplexer, so, you know, if a duplexer sharper or something, you're not gonna, you know, but
That was changed about 2 weeks ago.
it hasn't seemed to hurt the sensitivity that I can tell of.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anyone have any problems with the repeater?
Not a problem. And I don't know if this is the right time to talk about it, but it may as well. On the 440 on the digital side, it seems that there's a tendency for people to link it to like American Link and just leave it linked, as opposed to unlinking it when they're done. That's essentially poor practice, because that's such a busy group that doesn't allow the Pi to switch over to any of the other modes. So once it's linked to American Link, it's like constant traffic, and if you want to use DMR or D-Star on the other modes, you really don't have an opportunity to do so. So I would just encourage anybody that's linking to America Link or any of the other busy rooms, whether it be in DMR or D-Star, to unlink it when you're finished.
Okay, we'll have to look into see if we can automatically unlink so many times a day or something through,
Yeah, there may be some stuff,
through Grandmeister or something, or through the,
or maybe at the least
By
they can
itself.
put something up on the webpage with
Yeah,
how to unlink.
probably, because it's every day, and I
I never listened to it except on our little
Yeah,
slot one channel, so.
well, you're not gonna hear it
Right.
on that, because it.
Right,
DMR
I understand.
is unusable. But when I see it happening, I unlink it, but
What channel is that? You know,
it's American Link on System Fusion.
oh, it's on Fusion. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, they're on System Fusion, which doesn't, I mean, it's just this constant, that
Yeah.
American Link is just busy all the time. It's kind of like. we've got
Well,
a
you know, they may not even be permanently linking it. If it's constant all the time, if it's used every 15 minutes, it'll just stay busy, right?
Yeah, that's what's going on. And
Yeah,
it's
so
it's
you have
never-
to make an effort to unlink it, because it never gets
It's never.
the 15 minutes of off time, although I thought that was our FM, but yeah,
That
Well,
could be,
it's RF links it. You know, somebody locally is linking. it,
right, it is somebody, okay,
And, you know, and they're listening, and that's okay, but when they're done listening, unlink it.
all right, well, if I find out who it is, I'll try to get contact with, if you know who it is, send me an email, maybe we'll make it public,
I know who it is.
well, that's send me an email, and I'll try to get a hold of
It probably is something that should be on the website.
it. Yeah, we can put it on there, but I mean,
I think.
a lot of
what it
people
is-
never read the website, so.
I think the main problem is they don't know how to unlink.
that's something you'll probably have to tell me how to unlink it, because I don't have any YSF stuff.
it's,
I can put it on the
it's
website.
easy, but it's tricky because of the nature of what the repeater is. Essentially what you're doing is you're taking a system fusion radio and linking to the repeater, which in this case would already be linked to the American Link copper, and then holding down the band button on the radio. And you're not going to find those instructions really anywhere else. And like I say, that's why they're not unlinked. That's how. you do it.
Because like, Monday night, 3139 was extremely busy and we were working, except for you and Lee, I think, everybody was just solid as a rock. So, I mean, not
Yeah.
that.
And right before the net started, I unlinked the American Link thing, or that would have been a problem.
Okay.
Just,
3139 wouldn't have overridden it.
no. No, so it's not gonna go into the DMR mode at all.
That's interesting. I think we're still
It
going on.
doesn't have
Zoom.
anything to do with the 2 time slots. It's
Yeah.
the mode.
And it keeps the thing busy. But like I said, it works with both time slots quite well.
Yeah, it does.
And it has worked a lot better since we got it on its own telephone network. Now, whether it should have worked better, because Jason did say he thought he found something wrong with the original setup that we had. Because with audio, one connection should be able to support both repeaters, just with audio.
Seems like it's been very reliable.
But it's it and Echolink. Now, Stan did call me last night after that and say he had trouble getting into Echolink. But that may have been an Echolink problem, not us, because he sounded good after he got in. That's the end of my trustee report, probably 2 months tonight, but if you see something like that, like I said, get a hold of us. We can't always fix it. The other thing, Michelle was mentioned last night, you may have heard it. Sometimes people aren't getting the hourly time report, and I'm not sure what's causing that right now. A lot of changes was made to the SCOM controller at the same time we made the adjustments on the audio levels. So it may just be some applied mode and the times is a minute or two off.
I think probably what, as far as Wednesday night goes, is he probably programmed it to not interrupt the beginning of the net. You know, the net starts at 9, why have it come on and tell you the net starts at 9? It's probably what that is.
That's all programmable.
He probably stopped at 8 o'clock would be my guess, instead of continuing at 9 o'clock when the net
Because
starts.
we stopped most of the loud stuff at midnight too, so people won't leave their videos on. It doesn't do all the loud stuff at midnight till 6 or 7 in the morning.
Pat, have you been able to listen in to the net at all?
What's that?
I asked Pat if she's been able to listen in.
No,
You
I
need to
don't know
get your-
how.
You need to get your radio program.
I read the book, I read the manual that came with it, that said something about 1750 band. But I don't know how to get a band on this.
We'll get,
I mean, I just, I don't.
we'll get it set up. Doug will probably have it here.
It said something about 1750. Yeah, all I was getting for 440 and static. I read the book and it said you had to go to 1750 band first. That was like the first thing in the instructions. I'm like, where does it say band on here? There's nothing on here that
That'll let you listen.
will it stay on that. Will I change it? I'm sorry, I'm really green, okay?
We were all green.
Yeah.
I'm still green. We're turning a little yellow. We're just.
Are we totally offline? or-
No, we're still on Zoom. It's just that decided to be a pain.
Okay,
So
So we-
silly.
we can go on then, I guess.
I wonder if somebody's ever in that meeting room pushing buttons on a remote or something.
Want to see our faces.
That's kind of odd for it just to do that.
Doug, do you want to go ahead with the Wayne Aaron's Skyward?
Yep, just a few things there. I want to thank everybody that participated in the Skywarn training that took place after last meeting, which we've been in now. Had a good representation of the amateur radio folks at the meeting, and equally as important, we made a lot of good contacts there at the table. So thanks to those that attended, those that helped out with the table, and hopefully we'll see some benefits of that in the times days to come. I made mention on the net, on Monday night on the DMR net, that there's an exercise taking place. It's really a hospital exercise, and it's going to involve a chemical spill and some rioters and this type of thing. Looking for some people to help out with that. Nothing that's going to be difficult at all. Essentially, a couple of guys at either end. It's going to be out at the ATI, where we, some of you helped out with distributing the information. We had the COVID clinic out there. It's where it's going to be in the same location. So anybody that wants to help out with that, let me know. I've already had a few people step up to take care of that. I was contacted by the emergency coordinator in Ashland County a few days ago, and apparently they are going to be involved with the 100-mile run that I know many folks here have been involved with in the past. So they're starting a sign-up process for that. That event is taking place, I believe it's the first weekend in June. So once I know a little bit more about that, if anybody wants to help participate with that, they'll have that opportunity to do exactly that. Nimbus Day, it's in the minutes from the last meeting. It's coming up. Kind of a fun, it's not a contest, it's more of an experiment to operate essentially on 80 meters, 40 meters in close. So those of you that have the opportunity or the equipment to operate that way, I encourage you to play along with that. See where you can make contacts across the state. Otherwise, I really don't have anything else.
When is that hospital emergency?
That is May the 5th,
On my birthday.
What time?
7:30 in the morning.
Hey Doug,
Yes.
what were you saying on the 100-mile run? That's usually done on Father's Day,
Okay.
which is first part of June, I think.
That's what he said.
He said it's in June.
Yeah, it's, I don't have the date
Yeah.
just yet, but
And who's participating in that?
Ashland County Club.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they didn't want any hand help anymore 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, they said they didn't need us anymore. Because we did it, I did it for 28 years, but
So, but yeah, he actually has called me twice about that.
It's a different charge.
All right, I have a little bit about Indus Day down there. A couple of us had discussed maybe setting up at a club location. At this point, I think we're probably just gonna work from home. So if anybody's interested in an Indus antenna or what you need to do, I'll let you know. Unless there's some objection or a great interest in setting up as a club.
Be kind of fun, but like you say, there's so much going on right here at this point in time. So.
We do the simplex contest and Summerfield Day and Winfield Day now. So,
Am I on the email list? I haven't been getting any emails.
I doubt it.
Okay.
I would think so, but it's a membership list too, so. that's-
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But you can be on the email, we get it, right? Aaron? Put your email on the sign up sheet.
For $20,
I
you
didn't
can
get
get
it.
all the emails you want for the next.
Yeah, you don't have to get your license to
Okay.
join either. Yeah, you can join the club.
I just want to be involved.
Yeah. All right,
On the bottom.
recognition plaques
The bottom.
from last year, or from last meeting, we talked about those and showed them. And I think we're planning on presenting those on the the 20th of April still.
Yeah, that probably warrants just a little further bit of discussion. That's next Wednesday, I believe, is the date for that at 2 o'clock. Eric is going to do the presentation at the county commissioners meeting at the admin building. And it would be nice if others could be there as well. Just basically a show of thanks for the commissioners for providing the antenna space that they've done over the years and are planning to continue that. So oftentimes you find the commissioners doing decorations, recognizing other people. So we're going to turn the tables on and take them off the script just a little bit.
All right,
So if you're able to be there Wednesday at 2 o'clock, the public meeting, everybody's welcome. The photo op. I'm sure it was. Maybe you don't want the picture.
Any questions for Doug? I'd love to be there, but I have annual safety training at work that day. So.
And you are Mr.
You
Safety.
can join by Zoom.
Except that's right at the time we start one of our meetings, and 5 of them over 2 days. All right, put programs down here, suggestions, volunteers. This is pretty much going to be a monthly addition to the agenda. Anybody have any suggestions? We know that Goose is eventually probably going to do one again on QSL.
Mine has sound to it, just, well, it'll play off the computer. It's okay.
It's very true. You have one? Oh, I guess some speakers I can plug into.
All right. Field day. Coming up before we know it. We had some difficulty with winter field day with the one power supply, not the power supply, it's, the power supply. That charges the batteries for work. Say working.
and Motorola repeaters, yeah.
Yeah, Motorola. So we can probably do like we did before and eliminate that part, but we'll probably also try to do some testing up there and see what things are like. The other possibility would be the gut down at the Justice Center. Also, look down there. So, if you may have any suggestions or comments or recommendations?
If we can run, I'm just in running to comm centers anywhere or pick a park, but the trouble with park, Aaron had mentioned he might be able to furnish air conditioning, but I mean, I don't really want to sit out in the rain or sit outdoors. I know that's what field day is, but
Well, we'd have some kind of a shelter.
yeah, I don't
About
think,
18 by 20 foot that we could hang some side curtains.
I don't think we can get the
up.
EMA ban anymore, which used to be a standard.
Right,
Yeah,
we could get it down at the Justice Center. So, but that would be the only place, so. Just have any suggestions and preferences? Email me.
But if the noise is as bad, we do need to move and try to find a park or something. We need to really investigate that. And like you said, and along the same lines, if we're gonna use that, you already mentioned, but there's two things we need to do at the comm center. Once spring gets here for real and snow don't come, we still need to work on the antenna down there, the HF antenna. And we need to get the bird.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
I mean, we can get a group if anyone's interested in helping.
Okay. Anything else? Put in the order?
I guess I've got kind of an update on the web stuff. The website and the email domain server email list was originally on one of John's servers that he had, and he's kind of been condensing his stuff. The server that all of our stuff was on went away, I don't know, a month or so ago. Jason agreed to take it on for a little bit since he got us on with John. The website is going to be going to my server probably within a week. Just the website for now. The domain names will have to get transferred over probably to me at some point. The emails and stuff, it's gonna stay with Jason until I get my server set up for it. And then those will eventually probably all come over to my server as well. The only real thing with the domain names is right now we have .com, .net, and .org, which is good practice for a business if somebody doesn't take them and use them against you, but for our club, I don't know why it would be worth spending money every year paying for all three of those. And I say get rid of the .com and .net. My opinion, I don't think anybody's gonna take it and use it against us, the other two. But it's just kind of, as far as the web stuff goes, what's gonna be happening.
And we probably are gonna need to help Aaron out some as a club with some of the server financial aspect of it at some point.
I mean, someday, yeah, it would be, the club should come up with something to have their own server, but I've had this server for probably 8 months. I've been playing with it, so it's something I run like my own VPN and stuff through and some other stuff, but
I mean, you might tell it's not just your internet provider at home. I mean, you've got a
no,
you
yeah.
got a server in the cloud.
It's a
There is a
virtual-
monthly recurring charge.
virtual server on Amazon Web Services, so it's a little computer in a building down in Columbus. And I guess the VPN, I'm guessing will probably go through the VPN that right now are the Pi-Star is going through for the DMR and stuff, and the All-Star, I'm guessing that would probably get transferred over through my VPN at some point. But I probably won't have it for a little while yet, but the website's gonna be probably within a week.
I'd also like to thank Aaron for everything he's done for updating the membership list. Gary in there too, for working with him on that. Like something that definitely needed done. Anything else?
I guess kind of, since you brought that up, with the email list, that'd be something the club would have to decide. You know, do we keep people that haven't been members for years in that email list, or do we eventually kind of clean it up? Because, you know, 5-10 years down the road, if you just always leave everybody on it, it's a lot of emails going out. Be something to decide whether the club wants to leave everybody on it or clean it up each year as the memberships come in.
Or after a year, I would say.
Yeah, if they're not a member for a few years, do we take them off the email list? What do we do with that?
My thoughts tend to go towards looking at the people who are no longer members and members last year, but they haven't renewed, send a message out to them saying, we noticed you've not renewed, effective July 1st or whatever, from the email list, you want to continue, pay your money.
I'm planning to do that snail mail. Some of the next letter out, and thank them for the participation in the past and
It'll probably trigger some memberships.
I think they're
Guilt trip them
some
back
people
in.
that just.
Well, they're not even so much necessarily guilt trip. Some people move on, have no interest anymore.
Yeah.
So,
And that's fine.
Guilt trip them, I like that.
hey, you like that?
All right, one more time, anything else?
If anyone does ever want to pay dues, they can pay them at the meetings or PayPal. So.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Bill? Second. Tom? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned at 6:50. Program does presentations on.
Eric says keep talking so you can get the stuff.
Yeah, well, what almost appears to be to happen is my computer needs to be rebooted, because it's not picking up that display or that one all of a sudden. But if I reboot, we're dropping Zoom and YouTube.
Is there anybody there that we know of?
Out on Zoom, I don't know if anybody's on YouTube, can't tell that.
I would imagine that's.
Dave, Michelle, could you bring mine up and try it? Hook up to that or not? No, you
Well,
don't.
that,
You've already got all his PowerPoints on
the
your.
thing is, to get it on Zoom and YouTube, it's gotta all be on the same computer, so.
Well, I'd say.
Well, you know what, we could try that. If
Do
we want to spend that much time, I can flip the camera around and point at the screen and go that route.
whatever-
It
whatever
won't
you
be as
think.
nice as,
That's all right.
what actually being from the computer is, until we can go that route.
Sorry, YouTube viewers, we're going to have some technical issues here. We wish you were here, but we're going to do our very best to keep you in the loop. Definite technical issues.
Yeah, it works fine one time and not the next.
Bear with us.
Okay, did not know that.
You say you have sound on your presentation?
So can I link this to my phone?
How can we do that without getting feedback?
What's that?
No, that'll be all right. That'll work. That'll work.
Are you gonna use mine or not?
I'm gonna try to plug there.
What's that?
Is yours up and running?
No, it's not. I think it's just sleeping.
Where'd it go? It's just.
I won't be able to hear anything on this or? On just this? Touch anything else?
We could plug this whole thing. Yeah, since they had everything unplugged.
I got my car.
You know, I usually reboot my computer before we come to this. And I forgot to do that. It seems for some reason.
You know what I did? I took that to print that form, so I never picked it back up.
Well, this. It seems that it's drawn all the displays, and it's not detecting either that or my. Either that or my adapter.
I need 14 inches.
Let me, do this,
This?
They still link it into the center of Robert?
Warning, yeah.
Okay.
That's what this is? What is this?
Yeah, but if you're listening to that,
much garbage. I can never get over such
Sorry about that. Especially in one of them super formed up.
They do that every morning.
So I don't need.
Huh?
They just do this and unplug it.
So once you take.
Plugged in here.
And then you guys on Wednesday night, well,
Can you open the door?
start, that's a good start.
Gary, you're showing us this better side.
All right, let's start.
Where do you live at?
I have excellent location. I'm on the hill.
The day we-
It's one thing I learned when I was working for DOJ. Justice Management Division.
Yeah, I actually.
I spent a lot of time doing
that.
We never finish anything. We would just-
Yeah, I got my license over there.
I remember when plane tickets were cheaper than a video.
And we used to go over there and talk back and forth. And then I came over to home and I was busy on the fire department. And cell phones came out and I just didn't really know anybody.
Well,
And then Doug started publicizing and got I'm.
But then you had that call sign name, vision?
Yeah.
There's one, I got mine, 96.
Okay, okay.
We have a presentation for next month.
When they assign them to you, right?
Yeah.
It might be this one.
Try to make that work.
I didn't play, see what's available.
Mike, did you again?
You can take theirs out.
The guys that would study into it, you could hear it, call them, you go, oh, that person's from whatever state or whatever.
Well, it's by the number. Yeah. The number is eight is Michigan.
They've got their computer locked out.
Hey,
I keep it in display settings to see if it's picking it up on their computer because.
Right, yeah.
It's not like.
I didn't bring
Mine-
it down.
mine-
Yeah.
That's how they
Slow it down.
See a 6 in there.
It's a
Yeah.
So, not all the numbers.
Where is all this written?
Oh, I did the same thing.
Is it in the book?
Yeah.
Is it in the manual? I got it. Yeah, it says what states and what numbers. and all
Right
that.
on.
I can.
I started.
Yeah, right when I'm.
You go to down line or is it-
I tried to turn it on.
Worst case, I can upload the video.
Email you right away. So you have it.
The more I read,
We're still live right now.
You were there when Pete said.
Yeah. And I can watch Zoom on YouTube. That's the only other thing that devices help this. They can't play these reviews.
We used to.
There you go. Okay, to those of you who may be watching us via YouTube, we're going to reboot the computer here at the library. And in all likelihood, that will mean that the YouTube session will come to an abrupt halt. So if you can check back in just a few moments, hopefully we'll be back on the air. And if not, we apologize and thank you for being part of the meeting